is learning a process of accumulation? And is learning non-accumulative? We're putting both together. But let's look at it.
Let's look at it, yes.
One learns a language, Italian, French, whatever it is, and accumulates words, and the irregular verbs and so on, and then able to speak. That is learning a language and being able to speak. Learning how to ride a bicycle, learning how to drive a car, learning how to put together a machine, how to electronics and so on. So those are all learning to acquire knowledge in action.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm asking, is there any other form of learning? That we know. We are familiar with the acquisition of knowledge. Now, is there any other kind of learning? Learning which is not accumulated and acting. I don't know.
Yes, when we've accumulated it all, we haven't understood anything on that account.
Yes. And I learn in order to gain a reward or in order to avoid punishment. I learn a particular job, a particular craft in order to earn a livelihood. That is absolutely necessary. Otherwise, now I'm asking, is there any other kind of learning? That's routine. That's cultivation of memory, and the memory, which is the result of experience and knowledge, that is stored in the brain and that operates. When asked to do, ride a bicycle, drive a car, and so on. Now, is there any other kind of learning, or only that? When one says, I have learned from my experience, it means I have learned, stored up from that experience certain memories, and those memories either prevent, reward, or punish. So then all such forms of learning are mechanical. And the brain and education is trained, the education is to train the brain to function in routine, mechanically. Because in that there is great security. Then it's safe. And so our mind becomes mechanical. My father did this, I do this, and you follow? The whole business is mechanical. Now, is there a non-mechanical brain at all? A non-utilitarian, in that sense,
yes,
learning which has neither future nor past, therefore not time-binding. I don't know if I'm making this.
Don't we sometimes say, I've learned from experience, when we wish to convey something that isn't well conveyed by that expression? We wish to convey an insight that we don't feel can be, in a strict sense, dated.
Listen, you see, sir, do we learn anything from experience? We have had from history, history began, written history, 5,000 wars. I read somewhere, 5,000 wars. Killing, 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 maimed. And have we learned anything? Have we learned anything from sorrow? Man has suffered. Have we learned anything from experience of the agony of uncertainty and all the rest of it? So when we say we have learned, I question, you follow? It seems such a terrible thing to say, I've learned from experience. You have learned nothing except in the field of knowledge. I don't know.
Yes, may I say
Yes,
something here that just passed in recall? We were talking about sorrow before, and I was thinking of a statement of St. Paul's in his letter to the Romans, where there's a very unusual sequence of words where he says, we rejoice in tribulations. Now, some people have thought he must have been a masochist or something in making such a statement, but that certainly seems to me bizarre. We rejoice in tribulations. And then he says, because tribulation works, and in the Greek this means that there's energy involved, works patience. Patience experience. Now, that's a very unusual order, because we usually think that if we have enough experience, we'll learn to be patient. And he completely stands that on its head.
Yeah.
And in a context of what you're saying, that order of his words makes eminent sense. Please go on. Yes, that's really very remarkable.
You see, sir, that's why our education, our civilization, all the things about us has made our minds so mechanical, so repetitive reactions, repetitive demands, repetitive pursuits, same thing being repeated year after year, thousands of years. My country and your country, I'll kill you, you kill me. You follow, sir? The whole thing is mechanical. Now, that means the mind can never be free. Thought is never free. Thought is always old. There is no new thought.
Well, no, it's very curious in relation to a movement within the field of religion that calls itself, or did call itself, New Thought. Yes, I was laughing at the irony of it. Yes, goodness me. Some persons, I imagine, would object to the notion that we don't learn from experience in terms of the succession of wars, because wars tend to happen sequentially, generation to generation, and you have to grow up. But that's not true, because wars, more than one war, will happen very often in the same generation.
And there hasn't been anything learned. About? 2 wars.
Yes, hasn't been anything learned at all. At all. It's a terrifying thing to hear someone just come out and say, nobody learns anything from experience.
No, the word experience also means to go through.
Yes, yes.
But you never go through.
That's exactly right.
You always stop in the middle. Or you never begin.
Right. It means, if I'm remembering correctly, in terms of its radical root, means to test, to put to test, to put a thing to the test and behave correctly while that's going on. You simply have to see. You just have to look, don't you?
Of course.
Yes.
So that comes. So, as Our civilization, our culture, our education has brought about a mind that is that's becoming more and more mechanical. And therefore time binding, and therefore never sense of freedom. Freedom then becomes an idea. You play around philosophically, but it's no meaning. But a man who says, now, I want to find out. I want to really go into this and discover if there is freedom. Then he has to understand the limits of knowledge. Where knowledge ends, or rather, the ending of knowledge and the beginning of something totally new. I don't know if I'm conveying anything.
You are. Oh,
That-
yes.
That is, what is learning? If it is not mechanical, then what is learning? Is there a learning at all? Learning about what? I learn how to go to the moon, how to put up this, that, and drive and so on. In that field there is only learning. Is there any learning in any other field? Psychologically, spiritually? Can I learn? Can the mind learn about what they call God?
If in learning, in the sense that you have asked this question, no, I must rephrase that. Now, stop this ifing. When one does what I'm about to say, when one learns about God or going to the moon, in terms of the question you've asked, he can't be doing what you are pointing to if this is something added on to the list.
Sir, look
Yes,
what
of course.
is so clear.
Yes, it is.
I learn a language. Ride a bicycle, drive a car, put machine together. That's essential. Now, I want to learn about God. Just listen to me. The God is my making. God hasn't made me in his image. I have made him in my image. Now, and I'm going to learn about him.
Yes,
You
I'm
follow?
going to talk to myself.
Learn about the image which I have built. About Christ, Buddha, whatever it is. The image I have built. So I'm learning what?
To talk about talk. Yes,
Learning about the image which I have built.
that's right.
Therefore, is there any other kind of learning except mechanical learning? I don't know if
Well,
you
no.
understand my
Yes,
question?
yes, I do. Yes, I do. I certainly do.
So, there is only learning the mechanical process of life. There is no other learning.
Yes.
And see what that means, sir.
Means freedom.
I can learn about myself. Myself is known. I mean, known in the sense, I may not know it, but I can know by looking at myself, I can know myself. So, the myself is the accumulated knowledge of the past. The me who says, I'm greedy, I'm envy, I'm successful, I'm frightened, I'm betrayed, I regret. All that is the me. Including the soul which I have invented in the me. Oh, the Brahman, the Atman, it's all me still. The me has created the image of God. And I'm going to learn about God, which is no meaning. So, if there is, now I'm going to use the word if there is no other learning, what takes place? You understand?
Mhm.
I employ, the mind is used in the acquisition of knowledge in matter. We'll put it differently. In mechanical things. And when the mind is employed there, is there any other processes of learning? Which means psychologically, inwardly. Is there? The inward is the invention of thought as opposed to the outer. I don't know.
Mhm. Mhm.
If I have understood the outer, I have understood the inner. Because the inner has created the outer. Yeah, the outer in the sense of the structure, the society, the religious sanctions, all that is invented or put together by thought. The Jesuses, the Christ, the Buddhas, all that. And what is there to learn?
In listening to you,
See, see the beauty of what's
yes.
coming out
Oh,
of it.
yes. Goes back to your remark about Vedanta as the end of knowledge.
That's what I was told.
Yes. The interesting thing to me about the Sanskrit construction is that, unless I'm mistaken, it doesn't mean the end of it as a terminus, as a term, because that would simply start a new series. It's the consummation of it, which is the total end, in the sense that a totally new beginning is made that very point.
That means, I know, the mind knows the activity of the known.
That's right. Yes. That's the consummation of knowledge. Yes.
Of knowledge.
Yes.
Now, what is the state of the mind that is free from that and yet functions in knowledge?
And yet functions in it.
Yes.
Yes. It is seeing perfectly.
Go into it, you'll see very strange things take place.
Mm-hmm.
What is is this possible first? You understand? Because the brain and functions mechanically. It wants security. Otherwise it can't function. If we hadn't security, we wouldn't be here sitting together.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have security, we can have a dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
The brain can only function in complete security. Whether that security it finds in a neurotic belief or in a neurotic belief, all beliefs and all ideas are neurotic in that sense.
Yes.
So it finds it somewhere in accepting nationality is the highest form of the good. Success is the highest virtue.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. It finds belief, security there. Now, you're asking the mind, the brain, which has become mechanical, trained, centuries, to see the other field which is not mechanical. Is there another field? I don't.
No.
You follow my question?
Yes, I do. Yes. Yes, that's what's so utterly devastating.
Is there, is there another field? Now, unless the brain and the mind understands the whole field, understands the movement of knowledge. It is a movement.
It's a movement, yes.
It's not just static. You are adding, taking away,
Mm-hmm.
putting, and so on. Unless it understands all that, it cannot possibly ask that other question.
Exactly. Exactly.
And when it does ask that question, what takes place? This is real meditation, you know,
This is, yes, yes.
which we'll go into another time. So, you see, that's what it means. One is always listening with knowledge, seeing with knowledge.
This is the seeing through a glass darkly.
Darkly. Now, is there a listening out of silence? And that is attention.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not time binding. Because in that silence I don't want anything. It isn't I'm going to learn about myself. It isn't I'm going to be punished, rewarded. In that absolute silence I listen.